to business. This is Front Page Review, and of course, we'll get started with Who Said What. My name is Simeon Sunday.
I am Gesere Agua. Good morning to you and welcome on board. Of course, we're starting the segment with Who Said What. Yesterday, a particular essay to the president, public affairs to the president, Aliyu Audu, made a statement on television. He said, on inflation, Nigeria works when Nigerians work. Prayers don't fix the problems, and it takes time. We need to get used to that. That's what he said. But let's listen and hear from the horse's mouth.
Two releases by the yes.
Look back at how this has been, then we tell ourselves that we should not be so quick. I'm not even talking about the current government, but even the previous government. Because when we look at where we were some 10 years ago, when it was raining, how we failed to save, even though we were warned by the managers of economy locally and internationally, then we refused. I think it's us hoping that miracle prayers going into church or mosque or fasting will fix our problem. No, they don't. You've got to work to fix your problem. Nigeria works when Nigerians work. Prayers don't fix problem. And it takes time. We need to get used to that. It's not magic. It's not like you do. It takes time. We're going to have to, we put ourselves in this. We did.
What do you mean by we put ourselves?
Oh, yes. The contractors, those, the past leaders, the regular, we sacrifice value for money as a people. We worship money. Mr. President can't say that enough. We need to move our mindset from the idea of worshiping money. We've forgotten what value is. And everything we want to do is money. We have rich people whose value to the society we can't even point at. But that is what Mr. President is trying to return. Let's have value for ourselves. Let's have value for what we do. Let's demand value for every second, every penny.
Inflation rate in the last 3
All right, well, that was Aliyu Audu, and he made a statement really interesting, and he talked about the fact that Nigeria works when Nigerians work, and you have to wonder, what exactly is this government doing about their work? I mean, they've made a lot of promises to Nigerians. This is how many months into the new administration? It's not even new anymore, because a child who is 9 months old is is way beyond new. It's no more a bouncing baby boy anymore. He can now, try to crawl. So at this point in time, you begin to wonder just what exactly this particular government is doing to walk the talk.
The truth is, this has been, a lingering challenge with Nigeria. Successive administration come with one policy. At the end of the day, they don't do it. Contractors are being given jobs to do, and they don't go through with it, and no questions are being asked. The truth is, a lot of wastage. There's so much wastage in the country, and it's necessary that we have an administration that comes with, the thought and the mindset to make things work in this Nigeria. And the same cry we are crying now, we'll cry it in 2027 and cry it in 2031.
All right, a former minister of communications, Adebayo Shitu, made a statement yesterday, and he talked about a non-kinetic approach in solving this issue of banditry and security in Nigeria, talking about negotiating with bandits, giving them a promising future. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Those who are bent on killing innocent people.
I have said it. What is the cause of they wanting to kill everybody? It is because society had abandoned them over the years.
Abandoned?
Yes,
don't even know who these bandits are.
Well, we know that they are citizens of Nigeria.
We know they are not.
Well, whether they are not, once we are within our territory, there must be a way. In Boko Haram, at the heart of Boko Haram, when a lot of them were caught, of course, they put them in camps and started reorientating them and all of that, giving them skills and all of that. So the more skills you're able to give to the largest number of them, the less their propensity to go back. If they are assured that if promising future, erosive future are with them, after going through, this the radicalization processes and, skills training.
So you are proposing...
because at the end of the day, the amount of money we are spending on the armed forces to confront these people, it looks like their number is endless. Because in the bush, you have more than thousands of groups in the forest, particularly in the northwest and northeast. So instead of wasting too much money, on acquiring arms and ammunition and so on, let us rearrange. Let us find a way. After every war, there must still be coming, to a round table to negotiate.
So if you're saying...
All right. Well, that was a former minister. And you begin to wonder, Simeon, at this point, where do we draw the line? Who is advising what? Because this person says, oh, let them feel the full wrath of the law, the full wrath of the army. Some individuals will say, okay, let's negotiate. Let's find a way to get amnesty for these guys. So who do we listen to? Who has the solution to Nigeria's problems? First of all, how much more does the army need to do to ensure safety of life at this point?
No one solution works for all. When it comes to finding solutions to issues like this, the issue of insecurity is very dynamic. One cannot cut through. What happened in South cannot work for people right here in the Northeast. So it is necessary that we look at all the options available, go through all the options, especially diplomatic options. But in the case of the bandits, I don't think diplomacy will work, because we've seen that a lot of people have tried having this conversation with them. Sheikh Gumi, who was interrogated by security officials yesterday, was one of the persons pushing for this. Have conversations with them. Despite the conversations, till today we've not seen it. We've seen the governor of Katsina do the same thing, try to have a conversation with them, just as Rufai even said yesterday. Had a photo up. Until today, it seems like the man is now a fool for even considering it in the first place. So all forms of diplomacy have not yielded any fruit at all. So
okay,
the only option is for the military to do what they have to do.
All right, at this point in time we have to take a break and join with Rufai Hussaini to help us do a little bit of justice to some of our headlines this morning. Do stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is not just another radio on your dial. This is
Voice of the People, 96.1 FM, Abuja.
Bye there.
Inakwana.
Good morning.
Ilahiala.
Ekaro.
Obohia.
Good morning.
Mewa.
Edio.
Tutuama.
Keideo.
Good morning. Rise and shine. This is the morning ride. We have got an action-packed day ahead with headlines, sports, business, great conversation. Start your day right with VOP's morning ride. Weekdays. Good morning. Good morning.
It's thrilling, controversial, heated, thought-provoking. Catch Rufai Hussaini.
Came here to misrepresent the facts today as regards subsidy removal.
Kesire Aqua.
Report was that $9 billion is lost yearly to illegal mining.
And Simeon Sunday.
If you know something of this nature is happening within your community, why didn't you raise an alarm?
On the Front Page Review, weekdays at 7:15 a.m. Now you have a voice.
This is the Front Page Review on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. My name is Gesire.
And I am Simeon Sunday. Welcome to the show. And of course, this is the Front Page Review. We'll go through some of the training headlines across several newspaper platforms. And as always, we'll go through the Punch, Daily Trust, Guardian, Tribune Online, Nigerian Tribune. And also we'll check out some developments on The Nation and The Sun Nigeria. And as always, we will be joined by Rufai Hussaini in a bit, who'll be fleshing out some of the headlines we'll be touching on this morning. A lot of development, but one that has caught the attention of Nigerians. especially as regards the insecurity in the country, is the report across several newspaper platforms talking about Sheikh Gumi. And of course, on Daily Trust reports says what I discussed with security agencies when I was invited. What I discussed with security agencies when I was invited. That is on Sheikh Gumi this morning. And now to part of the details of that particular report, which says Kaduna-based Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmad Gumi has confirmed his interaction with security agencies. Gumi said he was treated with courtesy during the questioning, and he, however, did not state the security agency concerned in this particular case. We have El-Rufai on the line. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Okay, welcome to it. Let's talk about Sheikh Gumi, who has been invited by security agencies, and he said, okay, he was invited, but the security agencies were very courteous and welcomed him so well.
But I told you guys yesterday now, there's nothing like going to be arrested or anything. He's just going to be invited to talk like the last time, and he's going to be let go. But if another human being tries to say half of the things he says, you will be very indefinitely. So I talked about that yesterday, and I think I've been vindicated by the level of double standard in the country.
All right. Today we are seeing killing of. Before we even get into that, let's look at the president. He made a statement. He said we must treat kidnappers as terrorists. I mean, he condemned the rate of kidnapping across the country, and he declared that people involved must be treated as terrorists. They are cowardly, and that is the remark he made at a Ramadan dinner with members of the federal judiciary, led by the CJN of the country, Justice Olukayode Ariwola. El-Rufai, at this point in time, we keep hearing the president, I mean, by president, I mean the office, right? We saw that with Muhammadu Buhari, where he said, treat these guys as terrorists and bring down the full wrath of the law on these guys. And, he made a lot of statements, gave a lot of directives, and now we're seeing President Tinubu following that same towing that same line, rather. What exactly are we going to see different? Should we even see something different from Tinubu? Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
It's not about the tone. Like you say all the right stuff from the day till thy kingdom come. If you do not put appropriate actions in place, then nothing will be done. So it is the willingness that matters. It's not just about talking. It's not about talking. We all know the perpetrators of this crime. You have enough intelligence in the country. You heard what Commodore Olaobi said on the show. It's not that they don't know, but do they have the political will to go after them and settle this once and for all? That I doubt. And that's the problem of Nigeria, the lack of political will. Okay, look at something. For weeks now, I've been talking about and revealing a lot of things happening in the customs. Nobody has said, okay, let's even investigate and everything. So that's the kind of political will we don't have in the country. So when we have journalists talk, then the next thing they say we should keep short. If you don't have political will, nothing will happen. In the same country, president is saying, no, we decimate bandits. In the same country, Gumi that is saying, give them borehole, give them house, give them hospital. They are applauding Gumi. They are calling Gumi for questioning. And Gumi is talking. And Gumi is talking and advising security agencies. And they are having courteous conversations. So we are deceiving ourselves. So Gumi is not the one advising and giving ideas to security agencies after all the things they have said.
But
we are funny people in this country.
Well, Mr. El-Rufai, the question is, what is the best way to go about it? Because it seems like everything has failed. The truth is, the president has issued a marching order to all, service chiefs, and even part of what he told them on the day they came into office was that decimate these people. We've seen it. What other options are available to us as Nigerians? Simon.
You say that the issue marching orders. Go and check the statistics. Do you know how many kidnappings that have happened since Tinubu got in? Is it today? Not today. They be issuing marching orders. They have been marching now. Once you don't have the will to do it, you are not going to do anything. Forget all of this marching. left, right, marching now, marching on that. Go ahead. Left foot, rotate, left foot. What's the result? Nothing, because nobody has the will to do it.
But the question is, what other options are available? The military is doing all they can. The foot soldiers, we see them, dying almost on a daily basis.
My brother, all of these things you are speaking is what they call English language. Once the president does not have the will to stop it, everything we are all saying is English. This is where I've been giving suggestions. We don't suggest fire now. Once the number one person that can, all of this madness can stop in weeks. It has happened before. Yaradua had the willingness. He did it. In weeks, there was sanity restored. So it's not rocket science. But once the person himself does not have the will to do it, forget all of that.
But Mr. El-Rufai, we understand that there must be a will or the willingness from the part of government. But with the point of Yaradua, it is quite different, because there, the agitators had a goal, which they had always stated. Don't decimate our land. Oil that you are fetching from our land is killing us. But in this case, we do not even know the ideologies of these bandits, and we don't even know how to go about it.
No. There's no difference. These bandits have ideology. The ideology is to kill and to destroy. That's just it. So once you know, you take it on to them. You use a lot of intelligence. You use infiltration. Then you take out the key people among them. And you start to decimate them. Then you start to win back the communities from them. The communities that hear them. I mean, we know these things are not rocket science. But if you don't have the will to do it, you will speak English from today to tomorrow.
All right. So we're moving on to Delta State. The slain soldiers are going to be buried today, and the military are demanding killers' capture. I mean, the Nigerian army, they said those soldiers killed in the Okoma community in Delta State are to be buried today at the National Cemetery in Abuja. And this is just leaving a really, really nasty taste in our mouths, because these are individuals, military personnel, who have been, given the mandate to secure us, make sure that Nigerians are safe, on all the borders and all that. And now we're having them die in a communal clash, something as disrespectful as a communal clash. And then you see the military agitating and they're angry. So at this point in time, who should shift ground for who at this point? Because a lot of elders in the community, they've talked about, military shouldn't do this, the military shouldn't do that. What about the community themselves? How should they have handled this particular situation?
At first, you must understand that thing was deeper than a communal clash. At first, we must have a full investigation into what happened. Then any party that's found one, they let apportion blame to persist, and then let's start to heal the warring factions and ensure that this never happens again. But that thing is way deeper than a communal clash.
Talking about the deepness of it, Mr. El-Rufai, Edwin Clark, that's Chief Edwin Clark, recently made a revelation that, kind of is unsettling, especially how some state actors are going about finding the killers and bringing them to book. In part of the revelation Edwin Clark made just yesterday, he said some military officers stormed his residence in Delta State. They ransacked the house, told the people to come out. It was when someone within them told them that this is Chief Edwin Clark's house. That was when a security chief did put a call through to him to apologize. So it seems like the military are going about this in a certain way, looking for individuals.
And that's why a lot of people are charging that. That's the wrong way I think they're going about it. The earlier they stop at the bedside team and focus on the people they are looking for. But with due respect, we don't know that those things were deeper than what was on ground. The military must be able to bring up a bigger inquest, an independent inquest for all parties. Let's know what really happened.
All right, let's move on to another story here.
Igboho for a bit. I don't know if you're aware of the drama between Gani Adams, Igboho, and also the chief of staff to Sanwo-Olu right now, where Igboho and
they're having their own shenanigans as regards assassination attempts on each other.
Exactly.
For me, I think it's a fight for supremacy. Gani Adams used to hold that status of sort of like a crusader of some warlord of himself before. Now Igboho is trying to do the duty of the block. So I think you have skirmishes like that. Let's say I found, but they're discussing each other out. I like to discuss development. I don't like to discuss people. No man discuss people. But I like to discuss development a lot.
All right. At least 100,000 Nigerians have been displaced to Niger, Chad, and Cameroon by terrorism in the northeast, and they were returned to their homes in the past 7 years. This is according to the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum. He disclosed this to State House correspondents after a closed-door talk with the president at the Aso Rock Villa on Tuesday. Well, yesterday we talked about the fact that a Commodore you were interviewing yesterday made a statement about Governor Zulum, and now we're seeing something great happening in Borno State, where at least 100,000 Nigerians who were displaced out of Nigeria have been returned back to Nigeria. What exactly is your take on this?
That's a good sign. That's to show that the government is doing a lot of resettlement, but also we must not consolidate on the peace. That's the important part. Must not consolidate and make it harder for people against to be displaced because of insurgency and crisis like that.
Okay, amazing. And before we let you go, Mr. Rufai, let's talk about this in Kano State. Seems like we might be seeing some kind of white flag between the governor of the state, Abba Kabir, and Kwankwanso. We know what happened during the election, as it is reported that Governor Yusuf has now appointed Kwankwanso's son as a commissioner in the state.
Politicians is about what gets what, who gets what, when and how, and it's about interest. So let's come to see ourselves.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Mr. Rufai.
We need all this to happen. Yeah. Bless you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, that was our conversation with Rufai Oseni, talking about some of the headlines we have this morning. Do not worry, this is not all the headline we have in the Kitty this morning. There are a lot of it which we will be going through in a bit. But let's just go on a quick break. When we come back, Larry Ogwegu will be joining the conversation. Stick around. This is the Front Page Review.
And don't forget to join us on our live on YouTube. It is at Voice of the People Abuja. Join us on YouTube, Voice of the People Abuja, as well as join the conversation on WhatsApp 0700 010 961 961 0700 010 961 961. Stay right there.
Variety is the spice of our station.
Voice of the People, 96.1 FM, Abuja. Now, you have a voice.
Are you traveling to Lagos and desire a perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42 Murtala Mohammed International Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in our beautiful appointed rooms, featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Now, whether you are traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your every need is met. We also offer complimentary pick-up and drop from the Lagos airport.
Why not take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant?
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So why wait? Book your stay today and experience the ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
Today's sun is so hot though.
So what are you waiting for? Get the authentic taste of creamy cold berry ice cream. To order online from Gariki, call 090-8831-5907. Guarimpa 090-8831-5909. And Lugbe 090-8845-3416.
Enjoy authentic cold berry ice cream.
We have been serving you hot and fresh content on radio, and you have been loving it. Now we're taking it further. Catch us live on YouTube at BOP TV for all the juicy content you can't resist. Talk shows, exclusive interviews, news, lifestyle, and more. It's all about you. BOP TV, show up, speak up.
Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
Meet us on YouTube, Insta, and Twitter at Voice of the People 96.1 FM.
Welcome back. This is the Front Page Review on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. Good morning to you if you're just tuning in. Well, if you've been with us, well, thank you so much for staying tuned. My name is Gesere.
And I am Simeon Sunday.
Of course, we also have Mr. Larry Oguego on the line this morning. Good morning to you, Larry, and welcome.
Good morning, Gessie, and good morning, Simeon Sunday.
Great to have you on the show this morning. We're doing great. We're doing fine.
All right, we have the Nigerian army set to kill set to bury the falling soldiers today in Abuja by 3 p.m. At this point in time, are we going to see an end? Because we've seen aftermath of this particular, we've seen repercussions of the back and forth between the military and the community members. We've seen it extend beyond Okwama into neighboring communities as well. So what's the way forward with that particular issue?
Basically, the burial is what it is, a burial. And I think it shouldn't stop the military from trying to unravel the issues surrounding the death of the soldiers. What one would expect is a befitting burial for soldiers who died a totally avoidable death, but that shouldn't stop especially the intelligence unit of the military, to ensure that this doesn't happen again, apart from finding the people who were the masterminds. One of the things I would also want to remind the military is that beyond giving soldiers who die in such circumstances befitting burials, we should ensure that soldiers get a befitting life. We should ensure that they're properly taken care of, they're properly protected. And most importantly, when they pass on, in whatever circumstance, their families should be well taken care of. That is extremely important, because if a soldier, a military personnel, a policeman, whoever is in a very risky occupation, knows that if anything happens to me, my family is covered, they have more confidence to face the enemy. But if they feel that, oh, I won't be taken care of if I lose life or limb, they'll naturally be too cautious, and in being too cautious, they may not get the job done. So I think they should get proper burials, but beyond proper burials, their families should get proper care, and the soldiers that are still fighting should get a proper life while they're at it. That's very important. Of course, they shouldn't use the burial as a closure on the matter. I'm not saying that there should be any siege on any community. I'm just saying that this is a good time to deploy the intelligence mechanisms of the military to ensure that it doesn't happen again.
Okay. Really sad development as regards this. Let's still talk about banditry for a bit, since we're touching on security. Let's talk about the governor of Zamfara State, who has now called on the president to come to his rescue. And on the Sun this morning, it says banditry, Zamfara under siege. Governor begs president, cries out. We've seen, the Zamfara State Governor, Dauda Lawal, who has now raised an alarm over the escalating threat of banditry and kidnapping within his state. He has called on the president to urgently intervene and provide much needed support to combat the growing insecurity. This is not the first time we're hearing a governor calling out on the president to come to his rescue, as it seems that at this time their hands are tied. Dauda Lawal is one president. Some people call governor, I beg your pardon. He's one person that have done all he can to ensure that insecurity in the state has been brought to a minimal level. But with this cry for help, is this not rendering the governor, making the governor seem helpless?
The truth is that the governor has limited powers when it comes to deploying security agencies. The governor may have some degree of influence in terms of maybe giving the police equipment, tools, and influencing the commissioner here and there. But when it comes to, for instance, deploying more policemen, more military personnel, NSA, DSS, and all of those security agents to a particular location, the governor is totally powerless. And if you also look at the nature of Zamfara when it comes to insecurity and banditry, it has become a veritable epicenter. It appears that it's a kind of safe haven for bandits and terrorists, because even when they operate in other states, somehow they move their victims towards Zamfara State, which gives the indication that it's a kind of stronghold. Of course, it has been linked to the mineral resources and all of that. But I think the governor is right in asking for help. I mean, if you have a problem you can't deal with, you ask for help. And one of the things he has done also is to put it in public domain that, see, this is beyond me. I need help. It behoves the president now to look at how this problem can be solved, because if there is a safe haven in Zamfara that any other operation of the kidnappers and bandits ends up in Zamfara somehow, that is, if they abduct people, they go to Zamfara, it suggests that there is a safe haven there is a stronghold. There is something about Zamfara that they take comfort in, that if we are here, we are safe. So I think the security agencies and Mr. President should find a way to break that stronghold, so that at least they won't have a safe haven somewhere that they can run to. The governor has a right to seek for help, and I think is a proper thing to do. When you have exhausted your own capacity, basically ask for help, so that the state will not become a killing field of some sort.
It's really sad that we are seeing this happen in a state like Zamfara. Zamfara is known for, gold. There are so many natural resources, even lithium as well in Zamfara, which is one thing that even some world powers have said, if the issue of lithium is not handled properly, we might actually see a crisis loom with that. But with this being said, just as you said, there have been speculation that the banditry within this region,
degree of common sense links to it, because first of all, Zamfara has never really known peace since the discovery of gold in large quantities. And one of the things we have also asked, me personally, I've asked this question: if the place is so unsafe, how come the miners are able to operate and take out very valuable mineral resources? What it suggests is that there's some kind of understanding or alliance between the miners and the criminals. Some people even suggest that part of why you have the banditry and the unrest is because it prevents certain authorities from coming to nose around to know what's happening in the mining sector there. And of course, it also makes it difficult for big time legitimate players to come to do business there. So there is more to this than meets the eye, but I think it's something the federal government should look into. That's the more reason why the federal government should look into the Zamfara situation, because if we are having illegal mining thrive and then we don't know how much of lithium gold and all of that is being extracted, you can't properly get royalties, you can't get taxes, you can't get the revenue that should accrue to the federal government. So there are several reasons why the federal government should be interested in Zamfara, but not only in Zamfara, in every other place, because we should be careful. One of the things we have not been able to do well is to manage insecurity across the board. There is a tendency to dislodge bandits and criminals in one place, and then if you don't secure the other places, they just relocate, they just move to another place that may be fertile, even if not as fertile as the place you dislodge them from. So one of the strategies we should begin to think about is how do we fortify different areas. Remember before now, if they were pursued in Borno, especially Boko Haram, they would go to Chad. If you pursue them in Chad, they would go to northern Cameroon. Until the three countries came and formed an alliance, it became a little more difficult for them to play that game. So we shouldn't say, oh, we're going to focus on Zamfara, so they move to the next state, to focus on the next state, so you just be doing hide and seek all over the place. There should be a strategy that will not only deal with Zamfara, but also cover other mineral producing areas, and in fact cover the whole nation. We all deserve to live in peace. So Zamfara is like a safe haven. Yes, it may be a special case because it has valuable minerals, yes, but all of us actually have something that the bandits want. We have human beings. Of course, we know they abduct human beings, and somehow we have become their own solid minerals. They abduct us, they get money. So I think we need to be protected wherever we are.
Okay. Anyway, now let's talk about the PDP for a bit. We saw the drama, the crisis that rocked the party just moments preceding the 2023 election. And now it seems like the PDP are about to take a stand on what transpired during that particular season, as the Sun says PDP moves to sanction members who worked against Paul's victory. That is the headline this morning on Daily Sun. And part of it says party's National Working Committee mandate state chairman to compile list of offenders. So with this being said, will we see top individuals, those who some call the bourgeois of the PDP, gets the rod as a result of this move by the PDP's National Working Committee?
I think this is a case of locking the stable after the horse has escaped. I don't think we should be talking about whether they want to sanction the NAN or not, because it's embarrassing that PDP had to endure all that drama. I mean, you are a member of a party, so a person is working against a party that he publicly declares to be a member. That the person is openly working against the party, and they didn't have the courage to sanction them at that time. And they allowed this thing to fester. While it was happening, many more persons started doing practically what they liked. The G5 group, they were holding meetings. In fact, it was mayhem. It was everybody for himself and the devil for the hindmost. And they couldn't do anything. They couldn't figure out how best to manage these guys. They were negotiating with them. They felt that they were larger than life. So what if you sanction them now? What statement are you making? The election is won and lost. The party is in tatters. They have practically gotten away with what they did. Some of them negotiated safe landing and juicy positions with the APC. So if you are sanctioning them now, what's the gain? I'm not actually impressed, because whatever you do now, in my opinion, is not sanctioned. It's a slap on the wrist, because they should have been sanctioned at the time they were seeking relevance with the power play, but they allowed them to get away with it. So even if they are sanctioned now, it's just a mere show, and the sanction won't carry any weight. Of course, you can see that the system, the political system here is about personal interest, because we see people who are vociferous critics, who are diehard critics of a person, suddenly you turn around and become the person's PA or the person's PA. And you find out that we don't have any morals about the politics, we don't have any principles, we don't have the moral courage to discipline anybody, because most of the people who you expect to dish out the discipline have the same problems. I mean, look at one of the most articulate critics of the APC government and the president. He's not a very good friend to the president, and he's justifying it and explaining it, trying to be very articulate about the explanations.
Who are you referring to, Mr. Larry?
I'm referring to Boala precisely. I mean, it's in public domain that somehow we don't even know where he is now. So this is a political culture in Nigeria. That is, people do what they will benefit from, with all due respect. And the parties lack the moral courage to deal with them, because most of the politicians have precisely the same character. That's why they can't deal with them. And if you say you are locking the gate after the horse has escaped, why are you locking the gate? What's the purpose? So leave PDP and APC and the Labour Party and all of them. They are doing business with the rest of us.
You said, you asked the question, that this is not necessary this time. Is this not a way of setting the record straight? Especially as we've seen some individuals moving in a way, especially towards the 2027 election, which is in about 3 years from now. So is this not a way of separating, the wheat from the chaff itself, and have some people, those who are going to work in favor of the PDP, get to work? Let's know them now before the election.
My friend, if you want to separate the wheat from the chaff, you do the separation before you cook. It's not after you have cooked and eaten the food, you go into your stomach and start separating wheat from chaff. The food has been cooked, both wheat and chaff. That we have allowed them to just last the distance. And for me, really, they can sanction them for optics. That's to show that, PDP trying to now, be disciplined. We are trying to take control of our party. Yes, but for me, really, they should have done it when they did it, when people were asking questions, including yours. Why can't they deal with this mess? I mean, it's better you lose the person and the person gets that. In any case, they lost the election. So worst case scenario, they would have still lost the election. But the situation where you're begging, you go cap behind begging, you are just explaining, begging, you are empowering other people. You are giving the impression that the fastest way to get attention is to become a rebel. And that's what happens in Nigeria. If you want to get the attention of your principal, you make noise, scatter things everywhere. They'll say, that guy, you need to calm him down. Then they'll call you and negotiate. So we are creating anarchy. We don't reward the people who work for us. We want to reward the people who distract us. In fact, that's the case. Sorry, small digression, but I just want to demonstrate that this is a culture we have nurtured in this country. There was a time one of our finest presidents decided to stop the pipeline vandalism and all of that in the Niger Delta, and they picked up all kinds of miscreants and bandits and pipeline vendors, and decided to give them amnesty and reward them with juicy opportunities, including training abroad. I raised the question then, and nobody listened, at least as much as they ought to listen. I asked a simple question: what of the people from Niger Delta who had first class in the university, who have been well behaved all their lives? So you have a program for rewarding bad boys. You send them to South Africa to become pilots. You send them to Europe to study. You have fancy programs for them. So what the guys who have been nice guys all along, what are they getting? So they are getting jobs that pay 30,000 a month. They are getting jobs that are not secure. Meanwhile, you're paying people who are not working allowances of 50,000 a month or more for being bad boys. So we are in a country where people are rewarded for being rascals, for damaging things, for not doing the right thing. And that is why we are getting more persons moving from doing the right thing to doing the wrong thing. And that is why our political parties actually reward people who make noise, who decide not to play by the rules. And if you are slapping them on the wrist now for 2027 sake. I consider it childish. They should have locked the gate before the horse escaped. And meanwhile, I think I'm not happy by the fact that we are obsessed with 2027. It's a shame that as a nation that is in distress, everybody, including the politicians, are talking about 2027. I mean, we just finished the other election. We have not settled down. People are strategizing and talking about the next one when there's no governance has been done. We have not been rescued from the doldrums. We have not solved our economic problems. People cannot eat food. Look at the number of Nigerians who died struggling to get food to eat. Customs deaths, Nasarawa deaths, students who were sent to go and study were stumped to death because they were looking for food to eat. I think it's Bauchi arms crisis. So everywhere you look, you see despondent people begging for food to eat. You have not solved that problem, and you are looking at 2027 as a politician. Isn't that shameful? Isn't that shameful? So I think the politicians are not doing well, and that is why the country also is not doing well. I think we need to get to that point where we hold them accountable. We should be more serious about that.
Okay, I need to ask this, Mr. Larry, quickly. Sometime just a moment before the election, and we saw the drama that plagued the party. This stand was to be taken by the National Working Committee, but individuals within the structure of the party said, let's not cause more chaos within the party. If this is done now, and also knowing that the PDP is in the opposition, they are not the ruling party anymore, and they haven't been in the past 9 years. The question is, will this not further send the party to the abyss? Is there no better way to go around this other than sanctioning those members?
They have two options. They can engage in peace building. That is, if you are discussing with people who are thinking about a party. You talk about some of these things, principles like peace building, a kind of alternative dispute resolution. Let's make our party great so we can win elections. You discuss that when you have parties based on ideologies, and you have people who subscribe to the ideology. So they have attachment to the party, ideological attachment, but they may have probably fallen out with some individuals, or they have other problems. So what we now do is to try to get them to reconcile with the individuals or whatever. But there is that basic attachment to ideology. That's where you talk about maybe reconciliation and peace building. But the problem we have in Nigeria is that these parties are platforms for personal business and advancement. There is no ideological attachment. So even if you want to do peace building, the peace building is on the basis of what are you going to give me. PDP is not in power at the national level. They have states that can provide some degree of patronage, but many of these big boys are not looking for state patronage anymore. I mean, if you've been a governor, you are not going to run up and down looking for small contracts from governors that succeeded you or succeeded your peers in other states. So I think we need to understand the problem PDP has. We are not running politics, party politics based on ideology. We are running party politics based on what we can get. And these are big boys who want to play in the center. And PDP has lost the center. And PDP is not... in the opinion of these guys, likely to get back the center. Even if they are worried about, they are more concerned about what they'll get now than what they'll get in future. We are not, they are not interested in, like the way Nigeria works. When the future comes and PDP is better positioned or likely to show a good outing, they can go back. They are free to go back and forth like a pendulum as they like. So it makes the situation a little more complicated. They can be sanctioned, but that doesn't mean they won't come back if they want to. The point I'm making is that we are taking these politicians too seriously when we talk about sanction. That sanction doesn't mean anything. They can sack someone today. Tomorrow they open the door for the person if they think they need the person. So they are not, I don't really take them that seriously because we don't have discipline in our political parties to the extent that they can sanction someone and say, oh, we have sacked you from the party, and then you are not going to come back or hold office in PDP for 10 years. They don't do such things. What they're looking for is influence of some sort and connections. So once they consider that person useful, they welcome the person and they embrace the person. Tomorrow the person takes a walk to get a ticket in another party. The day after, the person comes back if he's not able to get the ticket. That's the pattern we have seen. So I'm not really impressed when I hear parties in Nigeria mention sanctions because they don't have the capacity to sanction anybody. They are too desperate for men and women of influence to sanction them. That's the problem.
Okay. All right. Moving on to Benue State, we saw that 23 Benue local government have gotten full autonomy. This is according to the governor. He said he's granted full autonomy to the 23 local government areas in the state, with adequate plans also outlined to open up the rural areas to enable economies to thrive. Well, how much of a welcome development is this, and just how well are we going to see an execution? Because when you talk,
will they truly be autonomous?
Exactly.
How autonomous is the autonomy?
That's good sound bite. It sounds good to me. But the question is, autonomy is not granted on the pages of newspapers or through media press releases. Autonomy is granted when they get the money and they are permitted to use the money in the best interest of their people without undue influence. So he has made a pronouncement that is commendable. So let's watch and see whether the pronouncement will turn into actual implementation. And the only way we can agree that the implementation is going on is if there is transparency. I mean, not just on the part of the state government, but we need to be able to also get feedback from the local government chairman. We need to see local governments go back to the era where they had graders and they could grade local government roads. We need to see a situation where they can tar critical, they can surface and reconstruct critical local government roads, do culverts, do the things that they need to do in their respective communities. A local government area is like a small state or a small country. They should be given the opportunity to empower their people because they know them intimately, and the people also should have more access to the local government chairman. So it sounds good that the governor is saying, oh, I've given them autonomy, full autonomy. That's how he described it. But time will tell whether there is full autonomy, half autonomy, or no autonomy. Sometimes these things are said and not done, and sometimes these things are done without being said. I think we need to gravitate towards a country where politicians will spend less time, with all due respect, trying to impress us about what they are doing or what they are about to do. There are states that spend so much money making pronouncements, showing us live coverage of commissioning and flagging up. Sometimes they use money to show us projects that they will flag up that they will not complete. That is waste of money. There's too much talk going on. I think we want more action. So, His Excellency, I think what you should do is to allow them to function. Let the testimony come from local government chairmen and the people that they lead.
Okay, and let's talk about a statement credited to the former president of Nigeria, that's Olusegun Aremu Obasanjo, and he recently talked about the reason for the rising banditry and kidnapping in the country. On the point, he says unemployment responsible for rising banditry, kidnapping, Obasanjo tells federal government. So Obasanjo is now giving a reason as to why we see the rise in banditry cases in the country. Unemployment, basically.
I think this is a complex problem. It's not just about unemployment. It's about unemployment plus other factors. Of course, you know that a lot of the people who are perpetrating mayhem in northern part of the country are not unemployed Nigerians, as it were. We have a very porous border. We have light weapons coming all the way down from the Sahel. We have several complex factors. But of course, unemployment and youth despondency is part of the problem. But to say only unemployment is the problem or the major problem is not entirely true. So I think we need to understand that these are complex situations and problems that need detailed analysis, and then we look at the different things we have to do simultaneously to be able to solve them. And you know, unemployment actually makes it easier for people to bend. That is, they are more prone to be tempted to do what is wrong when they are hungry and angry. So to that extent, unemployment is a big issue. If we can keep our young people busy, and if we can give them hope that tomorrow will be better, what is likely to happen is that they are more likely to reject overtures from people who want to recruit them for banditry, for kidnapping, for cultism, and all of that. But when the person looks ahead and there's no hope, the person looks behind, he's just coming out from a near-death experience with hunger and all of that. I mean, people who just escaped being stomped to death in Ikeja, Nasarawa, and all over the place, they will realize that, oh, maybe I should join them if I can't beat them. So unemployment is a problem, but it's not the only problem. We have quite a lot of problems. And if we want to deal with these situations, we should get people who have the capacity to think, to sit down and look at how we can be dealing with all of these things simultaneously.
Okay, before we let you go, quickly, let's talk about the Labour Party and the drama rocking it at the moment. We all know that the drama with the Labour Party started right after the presidential election, which we saw their candidate lose to the APC. And with allegations of corruption against its national chairman, Julius Abure, allegation bordering on, integrity and all of that. We saw last week this dimension. In fact, the whole crisis took a different dimension when the NLC themselves decided to picket the office of the Labour Party. And we know that the Labour Party convention is meant to happen today, which is Wednesday. And just yesterday, we saw the Labour Party announcing that they are going to change the venue because of the threat of NLC saying that convention must not hold. Looking at all the drama with the Labour Party, the NLC dragging them and everything, what do you think will become of this party in the coming days?
Labour Party needs a miracle to remain relevant. One of the things I've always said is that getting to the top is not too difficult. Remaining at the top is actually more difficult than getting there. It's like money. Sometimes making money may not be difficult, but retaining the money may not be easy. That is retaining the status, staying the course. Labour Party stumbled on fame, they stumbled on success, and they are not able to manage it. Labour Party, before the presidential election, in fact, if you looked into the crystal ball, no matter how you figured it out, there is no way the leadership of Labour Party would have imagined the level of relevance they suddenly were commanding in Nigeria. And they were not prepared for that. If you just want to call a spade, they were not prepared for that. And that's why people should understand that leadership should be managed carefully. Assuming Abure and his team were transparent, assuming they were principle driven, assuming they had genuine intentions and were principle driven, many of these scandals won't be happening now. The truth is that the way Nigeria works is that you have the big hawks. The big hawks dominate the big parties. Then those who don't get spaces in the big parties but are ambitious and have a tinge of the gambling spirit in them will go to the fringes and stay by the side. They are the small hawks. And then if fortune smiles on them, like fortune smiled on Labour Party, they will be converted to big hawks. But you see, they didn't prepare themselves for the responsibility of being a big hawk. That is, they didn't expect that this was going to happen to them, that they will suddenly become a national party with all the national relevance. And when the cake came, because they didn't expect it to come so soon, they started having problems sharing the cake. Because if you look at what is happening in Labour Party, it's all about position, influence, money, that this person misappropriated this one took that one, this one got to the office. So everything is about power and money, which means that it's still not about ideology and principle. So I don't see Labour Party being relevant in the next few years unless there is a real miracle. That is, the only way you can have that miracle is that some of them should be able to sit back and realize that the rare opportunity they have to contribute meaningfully to the transformation of Nigeria is more important than their personal ambitions. And in any case, many of them have made more money than they anticipated they could make in their lifetime. Many of them have become more relevant already. Why must they hold on to this power and money? So I think we need to get to that point where we become logical and realize that if we don't relinquish the position, the struggle for power and money, we eventually lose it anyhow. So why don't you just relinquish it and get people who are neutral, get the best hands to manage this? Because if they can sincerely come to the table with NLC, and you can't wish away NLC in Labour Party, that's the truth of the matter. You can't wish them away. So if they come with altruistic intent to negotiate, to have a conversation, I think this thing can be fixed. But the last time I checked, our politicians are not altruistic. The last time I checked, they don't look at public interest and place it over personal interest. So I don't see Labour Party surviving this crisis, but I pray that they do. I pray for a miracle. But this kind of miracle is very hard to come by in this time and age, especially when you are dealing with Nigerian politicians.
Okay.
All right. Real quick, let's just get your final words. Nigeria Nigeria actually had a match yesterday, friendly with Mali, and we were defeated yesterday by the Eagles of Mali defeating the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Very, very ironic. What exactly is your take on that?
Well, of course, we know that David also defeated Goliath. It's not about the size or the name. It's about the grit. It's about capacity. It's about the determination to stare down the giant and explain to the giant that, see, this is not about your size or your apparent reputation. It's about my capacity to face you and bring you down. They just brought us down as a warning that though we call ourselves super, well, there are smaller eagles out there that are willing to do exploits. It's also a wake-up call for Nigerian football. It's also a wake-up call for NFL. We need to NFL. We need to get to that point where we realize that we are just like stumbling and wobbling. We need to become a consistent football nation. Look at Senegal. Look at some small countries that have been consistently doing exploits. Yes, they may have had hiccups here and there, but you see the consistency in their ratings. You see the consistency in the things they do. But it's a very good wake-up call. Regular ego defeating the super ego. David bringing down Goliath. Food for thought for Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Larry, for the conversation this morning.
It's always my pleasure. And thanks for having me. And like I always say, I hope they're listening to the voice of the people, because this is actually the real voice of the people.
All right. Thank you so much, and have yourself a good day.
And you too.
Okay, anyway, that was Larry Ogwego, and he is our in-house analyst doing judgment to some of the headlines we just discussed this morning. A lot of developments in the news we couldn't take all, but hopefully I'll bring some of them tomorrow, especially as regarding the Ondo State primary, the APC primary that will be happening on the 25th of April. I think tomorrow Gessie and I will touch on that before we move on to other matters.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to Voice of the People 96.1 FM. This has been the Front Page Review. Join us tomorrow 7:15 a.m. sharp, immediately after the world's news, and let's have a conversation about Nigeria. Let's have a conversation about our growth and development. My name is Gesire.
And I am Simeon Sunday.
Sports Bit is up next at 8:30. Good morning.